You have to stand a little bit closer.
Don't stand so, don't stand so, don't stand so close to me. All right, guys, so some of you who follow my Instagram, you know that last week I re-aggravated my back injury. So I've dealt with this on and off for a few years now. I have a herniated disc between L2, L3, and I have a bulge disc between L4 and L5. Now, I was able to, last year in October, I didn't notice anything while training. I had a deadlift session one night, and then a couple days later I had picked up my daughter a few times that day, and then by that evening, man, I couldn't hardly even move. And it started to get better, over a few weeks, was feeling better, and then I had Robert for the night for an evening. And I was picking up Robert, putting him down, picking him up, putting him down, and I woke up and I couldn't even move. It was one of the worst pains I'd ever been in. And that took me about, I'd say a month and a half before I could really get back to squatting. So this past week, actually let me go back a few weeks. We've been traveling. I was home visiting my parents, and I was supposed to pull a heavy deadlift single. I worked up to 675. It felt really good, real solid. And the next day I was a little bit tender. Nothing too bad. And then later that week, I skipped my next deadlift day just because I wanted to play it safe. And then later that week, I was kind of still feeling a little bit tender. And I decided to kind of push back a few of my training sessions. It was weird. I was actually just doing normal things around the house, and it started to feel a little bit more tender. So I pushed back a few more training sessions. And then I finally went in to do some pause squats and tweaked it on my second set of pause squats. Now, it didn't feel bad based on, I know how this feels when I do these things. I had tweaked it before Raw Nationals, as some of you guys know. Came back and was fine. And when I say tweak, I mean that bulge disc just gets a little bit aggravated, gets probably a little bit out of place. And so I had tweaked it and I was resting it. It was starting to feel a little bit better a couple days afterwards. And then I had the kids over. I was picking them up, putting them down, picking them up, putting them down. And by that evening, by middle of the night, I could not move. I tried to go to the bathroom probably about 5 a.m. and fell down on the floor. I literally could not move. That disc was very angry. And the whole next day, I couldn't stand up, I couldn't sit down, I couldn't do anything except literally lay on the floor on my side. That was all I could do. I could bring myself to stand for a few minutes just to eat food, and that was it. Fortunately, I'm with SteadyMD, which is basically an online concierge medical service. And my doctor is Dr. Spencer Nadolski. Many of you guys know him as the doc who lifts. And I texted Spencer, said, man, I'm in a lot of pain. What do I need to do? And he was able, it's Friday, and I looked into all these pain clinics around Tampa, and they were all closed. For whatever reason on Friday, apparently people don't get injured or have pain. So Spencer got me into one. Within an hour, which was great. I just texted him and he set it up. I didn't have to do anything. Went to the pain clinic. They recommended either a dose pack of oral corticosteroids along with some painkillers, and because that would be covered by insurance, they said I could get a cortisone injection, a cortisone spinal injection, which would work much faster and be more potent, but my insurance wouldn't cover it unless we got a new MRI done, and it would take probably about a week. And the way I looked at it, man, I was in a lot of pain. So I paid like $600 to get the spinal cortisone injection, because the way I looked at it is if I could feel better, because I couldn't even work. I couldn't even sit on my computer and work. So I looked at that as a good $600 investment. And, I will say that spinal injection was definitely not the most comfortable thing I've ever done in my life, but almost within hours I started feeling better, because it was, that disc, when that disc gets aggravated, it wasn't pressing on a nerve, because I don't have any radiating pain. There's no tingling, there's no numbness, there's no pain that shoots down my leg or anything like that. It's just very localized on my lower back. And so it's just that disc getting out of place causes an inflammatory response, and the muscles around the disc to kind of seize up. And that inflammation plus that muscle tightness, man, I mean, I don't know if there's such a thing as an 11 out of 10 pain, but like I was having an 11 RPE trying to walk around my house. So I got the cortisone injection done. They gave me a prescription for painkillers. I only had to take those for probably 3 or 4 days, and now I've just been managing it with ibuprofen and muscle relaxers. And I can tell you it is about 85% improved from where it was 5 days ago. Thursday and Friday of last week, I was in a bad way. So I'm just grateful I'm able to stand up. I'm not really thinking about my next meet. I know I've had planned for the Pro American at the Arnold. I don't know if that's going to happen. But all I can do is just, I've taken the first step, which is getting the pain under control. Now I can start rehabbing. Now I can start focusing on moving forward, and we'll just see what happens. But I know there's going to be a lot of people, and all the usual suspects are already giving their 2 cents. I don't know how much longer I'll be able to compete. There's people who compete well into their 50s and they're very successful. Right now, I'm just going to take it case by case and day by day. There's a lot of people out there who have unsolicited given me their advice that I should retire, or, haha, we told you so, this and that. First of all, I've already accomplished more in powerlifting than I ever dreamed I could accomplish in my entire life. So I'm very happy with how things have gone in my career. Somebody said I was the most unlucky powerlifter in the world. I consider myself extremely lucky. I got to compete at the Arnold and win the Arnold one year. I got the chance to compete with the best in the nation and win twice. I got to go to the World Championships in Finland and set a squat record at the World Championships in Finland against 20 other national champions and win a silver medal overall. I consider myself extremely lucky. So I definitely would not consider myself the most unlucky powerlifter. I am extremely lucky. I just love to train, and I consider every PR, every good training session a blessing. And if it comes to the point where I can't do this anymore, then I can't do it anymore, and I'll find something else to put my physical efforts into. But right now, there are people who deal with back pain, and they deal with back tweaks, and they deal with bulging discs, and they deal with these sorts of things. People are acting like I'm somehow going to be in a wheelchair. First off, it's not your business to tell somebody when they should be done. You don't have the right to tell somebody what they should do with their life. Secondly, lots of people deal with this stuff. The reason you don't hear about it is because people don't like to fucking talk about it. Nobody wants to talk about when they're injured. You're not going to see most powerlifters do a video when they're injured, mostly because they don't want to hear from fucking trolls who are going to try and tell them how they should be training when those idiots can't even squat 100 kilos. All right? So that's why you don't hear about it much from other people. I talk about it not because I am looking for sympathy or anything like that, because I know I'm not going to get it. I know because I lift very heavy and I'm very active that this stuff is a risk, and I accept that risk. I do it because I know there are people watching who are going through the same things or are going to go through the same things, and my hope is that my mistakes and how I handle this can help them handle their situation better. And I know that that's been the case for many of you who have emailed me and messaged me and said that, talking about my injuries made you feel like there was some hope for you. So at the end of the day, honestly, I just don't care what anybody thinks. This is my life. And, if it comes to the point where doctors are telling me, hey, you need to stop doing this. You may have a chance to end up in a wheelchair or something like that. Then I will heed that advice. But right now, I still love to train. I still love to compete. I can still do it at a high level. And I'm going to continue to do the things I've done before. I'm going to learn from this. I'm going to rehab. I'm going to look into new methods. I already have a Skype call set up with Brian Carroll, who's a powerlifter who's overcome multiple injuries and works with Dr. Stu McGill, who's one of the foremost back injury experts in the world, and hopefully learn some new things. Andres, my coach, has been phenomenal at changing my programming. I've had people criticize me saying, well, you don't change your programming. Go back to the videos from 2 years ago and look at my programming and look at what I do now. It's completely different, okay? The fact of the matter is, when you lift heavy shit for long enough periods of times, it happens, all right? Some people, it happens, I've been doing this for a long time, been doing this for 20 years. So yeah, it happens. I'm really not that stressed about it. I would really like to make the Arnold. I would love to make the Arnold, but when we get to 6-8 weeks out, we'll cross that bridge when we get there, when we have to make that decision if we have time or not. But right now, all I can do is what I can do right now with what I have, where I am right now. So I don't give a fuck about 14 weeks from now, 6 weeks from now, 2 weeks from now. I care about today, what I can do today, and I'll do that, and then I'll figure out what to do tomorrow, and then I'll keep doing that. And if I get better, we'll bring it again. And if I don't, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But I'm not a quitter, and I'm not gonna just step aside because I got injured a few times. I'm gonna try and look at it like a puzzle and figure out if I can find a way to make it work. So hopefully this has been useful for some of you guys. For those Google MDs who feel they know more about these sorts of things than actual real doctors who are giving me advice, please don't leave a comment below, but I know you will. So, again, I realize that this kind of stuff likes to bring the trolls out, but if you haven't noticed yet, you're not going to change what I do. I'm going to do what I fucking do. So, watch me.